Chapter 1. Running. Panting. 11-year-old Kai's tattered clothes fluttered as he ran, his father close behind. The man's right arm ended in a ragged stump that serves as a grim reminder of the horror they fled. Branches whipped their faces as they tore through the forest, the monster's roars echoing behind them. Kai stumbled, but his father scooped him up with his remaining left hand, pulling the boy close. They pressed on, hearts pounding, until finally they saw it. The ancient mahogany tree, its massive trunk, a beacon of hope. For generations, their ancestors had guarded this sacred tree, and now it was their turn to seek its protection. As they reached its gnarled roots, they collapsed, gasping for breath. The monster's howls faded into the distance. The father gently settled Kai in front of the tree, his eyes filled with determination. Unexpectedly, Kai's father began to chant in an unknown language. His eyes turned white, glowing with an otherworldly light. A serene energy enveloped them as the chant continued, and suddenly, nirvana emerged. A state of perfect peace and harmony surrounding them and the ancient tree. Kai watched in awe as his father, connected to centuries of guardians before him, invoking the true power of the sacred tree. Their peace and harmony were short-lived when Kai's father suddenly coughed, spitting blood as the nirvana around them began to fade. The chanting grew more intense while his father's voice strained with effort and pain. To Kai's astonishment, a hole slowly emerged in the ancient mahogany's trunk. His father's lone hand urged him towards it, but Kai hesitated, confusion and fear etched on his young face. "Dad, what's happening?" Kai cried out. But there was no time for explanations. With a final surge of strength, his father pushed him towards the opening. As Kai stumbled forward, his father began another mantra, his voice growing hoarse. Suddenly, Kai felt a jolt of electricity coursing through his head. He cried out in shock and pain as knowledge flooded his mind. Images, words, and sensations he couldn't comprehend. As the world began to blur around him, Kai heard his father's final words. "Our ancient knowledge is sealed inside you now, son. Protect it." In a dizzying instant, Kai felt himself being pulled through space and time. When the world stopped spinning, Kai's eyes snapped open. He was in his bed, heart racing, covered in sweat. The familiar creaks of his old house surrounded him, and the smell of his grandmother's cooking wafted through the air. "Same old dream, huh?" His grandmother's gentle voice came from beside him. She sat in her rocking chair, knitting needles clicking softly. Kai blinked, trying to shake off the vivid images from his dream. It had felt so real, yet here he was, safe in his room, his grandmother watching over him as always. "Yeah," Kai mumbled, still disoriented. "Same old dream."